Howdy folks, I'm a serendipitous Saturn, skillfully scaling slimy subterranean staircases.
I'm Detective Amber.
Ooh, Detective Amber. And here's some detective work that we can do today. Amber is happy with herself because we'll just talk about it in tea time.
Yes, we will.
Alright folks, our first letter is from the Am I the Jerk subreddit, and it's titled, Am I the Jerk for Making My Ex Homeless? A while back, my wife and I got divorced pretty amicably. Instead of selling our family home and splitting the money, I suggested that I take a loan using the house as collateral and buy myself another place. That way, she could continue to live there and our kids would inherit it eventually. She was reluctant, but eventually I convinced her. She's always been like that. Her reluctance to take on any chances has held me back many times. Anyways, this was a good plan, and it worked for a little while. Eventually, however, I ran into money troubles. Everything was more expensive than I thought. The fixer-upper that I bought needed a lot of renovations, and I got deep into debt. I kept paying the bank, just not every month, and sometimes less than the full amount due for the month, etc. Eventually, the bank foreclosed, and the house was sold to repay the debt. It was a shock to everyone. The bank had sent some threatening letters, but I was still paying. I didn't think that they would go that far. Anyways, my ex moved in with our youngest son. She is doing fine and is not homeless at all. But she keeps complaining about losing the house, and my kids have gone low contact with me. They all go out of their way to help their mom, while I only get scraps every now and then. Even though I also needed help sometimes since then. I know that I made a mistake, but it's not like I planned this. I lost a lot too, and even though I have the house that I bought back then, it's nothing fancy and it's expensive to maintain. Besides, my ex got to live alone in the house for a couple years rent-free. Last time we met, I told my kids that they should show me more gratitude for my part in raising them, and they should think that they have two parents, not just one. They're all doing pretty well financially, and they said that I'm a jerk for demanding anything of them after what I did to their mom. They say that I should have given her more money every month to compensate for some of the loss. While I do earn more than her, I have expenses too, and it's not like she needs it. Really, she's living rent-free on our son and is pretty well off, so he won't be kicking her out. I admit that my plan didn't work out, and it caused her to lose some money, but am I really such a jerk for expecting my kids to help me out too, like they helped out my ex? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, of course you're the jerk. Why was it her property that was used as collateral when you couldn't manage your own money?
Yeah, I think that this kind of shows that OP was really only thinking about themselves. And then on top of that, OP got to keep their house. Mm-hmm. And foreclosures don't happen overnight either, right? Those are something that the bank is going to send out like multiple warnings.
Well, but he just threw them away because they weren't that important. Like, it seems like he knew it was coming and he's like, nah, the bank's not really going to do this. And even if they do, it's not my house.
Yeah, so I think that the whole surprise, everyone was surprised, is you were surprised because you didn't think that they were actually going to go ahead with it. But everyone else was surprised because they were literally caught off guard when they shouldn't have been. And I think that that's really what this boils down to, is that you were irresponsible and you ended up hurting your ex with it.
And I don't blame her for not going along with your schemes and needing time to think them out, because if this is any example, like, it doesn't sound like she was holding you back. It sounds like you were making really poor choices and decisions that hurt other people.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. Is OP just poor, oppressed, and put upon, or is he a jerk? And Jolly Condane says, you're the jerk. It sounds like her reluctance to take chances has only held you back from bankruptcy. Yeah, I mean, then that's exactly what this boils down to. And Meowosaurus says, agree. Pretty bold opening statement from OP, going directly from her reluctance to take chances held me back to, and then she was totally right about her reluctance because I messed up within a few years. You're the jerk, OP, for breaking your promise to your ex and for comparing your financial struggles caused by yourself to hers. And Giraffe Thought says, The lack of self-awareness is astounding. When all of your children side with your wife, it means you're the jerk and you should have taken a look at your behavior. And Encartus says, lol, wife always held you back, huh? But when you go solo, you fail so spectacularly that you lose both houses and whatever goodwill remained with your family. Yep, you're the jerk. Love the passive voice on why you failed with the renovation. Everything was more expensive, not I didn't do my research or have an actual feasible plan. Well, and that's just it. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And Brief Infinity 344 says, he didn't lose both houses, he only lost her house. Which again, like, I'm pretty annoyed that he ended up sacrificing her house and not actually his house. Bookworm 1398 says, you're the jerk. Foreclosure is not something that happens overnight. You 100% knew that it was coming and didn't tell her. Alright folks, and our next letter is from the r/mi the buttface subreddit. And it's, am I the buttface for making a judgmental comment to my boyfriend? My boyfriend and I have been together for a little over a year. Earlier this year, I moved into my own studio apartment because it was too early to move in together. But I wanted to move out from home. My boyfriend is 26 and has lived in his home for his whole life. When I got my apartment, we went from seeing each other on the weekends and one time during the week to almost every single day. He sleeps over at least 4 nights a week. In this time staying here, we've had some small arguments about him not picking up his share, leaving his dishes in the sink, dirty clothes on the floor, things like that. And I explained to him that I work over 50 hours a week and I don't feel like coming back to cleaning after somebody else. Well, his job is very inconsistent, averaging 20 to 28 hours a week, with random days of the week off. So when he doesn't work, he asks to hang out here, but sometimes it's frustrating to see him lay on my bed and watch TV when I come home at lunch, overwhelmed from the workday. He hasn't offered to chip in for bills or rent, which is fine, I guess. He's only paid one grocery bill, and his mom picks up his stuff for me at the grocery store for him to bring over. His mom folds his laundry, leaves his dishes in the sink all the time, and groans when they ask him to do the slightest chore. That's why I'm hesitant to have him move in officially, because he's never had to pay any bills, and his job is not consistent enough as of how, even though I've been telling him that for months. Despite my frustrations, I love spending time with him. People in his life seem to think that I'm isolating them from him since he's here more times than back home, 30 minutes away, when in reality, it's him asking to come over. Well, one day, I was looking to find an outfit. I was rushing because I was running late, and he made a joke. You know, if you folded your laundry, it would be easier for you to find them in your drawer. I told him, you don't even fold your own laundry. Why are you judging me? He immediately got defensive and thought that I was judging him. Was I the jerk for my comment, or is this justified? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. If you want to stay in a relationship with this guy, it's time to start setting some boundaries, because if you don't, he's going to continue to just leave his stuff everywhere and you're going to continue having to pick up after him.
Yeah.
And I know you like having fun with him and are enjoying the relationship otherwise, but this is not a small thing and it's going to get worse over time. I think you're right not to want him moving in, because he has shown that he cannot be trusted as a reliable partner.
Well, and I think that's just it, is he isn't really proving himself to be reliable. He's making more work for OP, and he's not paying rent. He's not doing anything to help OP out. So I think this is just a small glimpse into your future, OP. You're not going to be able to train this guy. He's 26 years old. He either needs to figure out how to get his act together, or you just need to cut it off. So I don't know if there's anything you can do beyond that.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, is like, if you really want this to work, next time he starts leaving his stuff everywhere, just tell him you gotta clean this or you can't come back for a while, or something like that. Like, start making there be consequences for him leaving his stuff everywhere. Because if you don't, again, like he's just going to keep doing it and never going to learn. And you're going to end up stuck in a relationship with someone who's using you as their maid.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. So, but let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Danny Caps Fun says, if you're going to lay about your girlfriend's apartment making a mess, it's not wise to criticize her housekeeping. Time to set some boundaries with the boyfriend. If he's not going to clean up after himself, he's not welcome except on weekends. If you come home to a mess and he's there, time to go home, sweetie. Spent all day working and I don't want to spend my evening picking up after you. Not the jerk. And I think there's only really one flaw with that, is the fact that if he's been at her house all day and she comes home, then it's just going to be one of those things where she already has to deal with the consequences because he's refusing to clean up after himself.
Right, which is why it has to be, oh, well, you can't come over for a few days or something.
Yeah, exactly. And Random Internet Stranger says, not the jerk. Your boyfriend is a mooch, and he's not going to magically start pulling his weight when he's officially moved out of his parents' house. And Silk Run says, are you his mommy, maid, and his sugar mama at the same time? Not the jerk. It's just me, H3R3E says, not the jerk unless nothing changes. Then you are to yourself, cause he's already moving in, has zero inclination or desire to change. They will never change unless they want to fix themselves. He'll never change cause his mom does it for him, and he expects you to do the same. I take him out to his mom's, and he's not even done cooking yet. Alright folks, our next letter is from Am I the Jerk subreddit, and it's Am I the Jerk for hiding food from my boyfriend? So, I'm a 43-year-old female, and my boyfriend, a 44-year-old male, have been together for years and live together. We don't have kids, we're very happy, and have good communication. There's one issue that drives me nuts. We use a joint account to buy food for us, usually shopping together a few times a month, and then one for us picking up things here and there. I cook dinner almost every night, and we don't eat a ton of junk food, but occasionally I'll buy things that we both love for a weekend or just to indulge here and there. The issue is that I go to bed on the early side and he stays up late and goes full ham on any junk food that we have around the house on any given night of the week. I'm talking about an entire family-sized bag of chips and an entire container of queso gone in one sitting that I was saving for Friday margaritas. I went to make us root beer floats with the quart of ice cream and a 2-liter soda, and they were gone from shopping 2 days prior. He doesn't even replace things. He just gives me a sheepish smile when I ask where the rest of something is, and he knows that he ate it all. So last night, after cleaning up the kitchen from dinner, I put all of the candy and chips and anything else stable into a different place where he couldn't find them. He basically went ballistic after I went to bed, that all the good food was gone, even though I had just cooked a nice dinner. I told him, welcome to my world, as this is constantly happening when I go to have anything that's been purchased. He says that I was treating him like a child, and I said that he was acting like one. I don't care that he indulges, but to literally finish off every bit of something that has been brought for us to both enjoy is getting really old. It's not a weight thing or a money thing. I just want him to leave maybe one portion for me, or maybe we can enjoy together. So until he can show some willpower, I told him that I won't be keeping any junk food around for him to gorge on unless it's something that he purchased with his own money. Part of me thinks that it's just funny, which is why I might be the jerk, but I just think that he needs to figure out how to share, figure out how to not consume the entire lot in one sitting, or just figure out how to buy his own treats. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Why does he have so little respect for you in this situation? Like, I understand liking junk food, but he should have enough compassion for you as a partner to set aside some for you. And if he really does have so little impulse control that he can't stop himself from eating the entire bag, it's probably best if he is cut off, because that's not healthy.
Yeah, I think that his dietary choices here are pretty unhealthy. Maybe he needs individualized portions. If you two could work out some kind of compromise where you set up, like, here's a portion, this is what you can have for this night, this is your allocation, these are the other allocations. And I think that, again, it's one of those things where he's acting incredibly selfish because he's not considering you at all when he's doing this. And I mean, I can understand, like, losing track of eating something. A lot of people do that. Like, some people will sit down with a bag of chips, and before they know it, it'll be gone. But that's why you take, like, a bowl, and you pour out a portion into the bowl. That way you aren't eating the whole thing all at once.
Yeah, and he should have enough consideration for you to be able to set aside a portion for you.
Yeah, and I just think it's really unfortunate that he's really just not doing any of this. So I think that you two need to sit down, you need to have some kind of conversation, you need to figure out a compromise and work on how to help him develop healthier habits, because I think that this is something that is going to be a problem for him in the future. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Sassy Piehole 371 says, I think that your boyfriend might have a problem. His consumption of junk food is way over normal, especially given that he's just had a good meal. You need to come to an agreement that works for you both. Hiding food isn't a great idea, but what else can you do when nothing else has worked? Time for a serious talk. When he's calmed down, you both need some time and space without being interrupted to state your needs. Make a plan from there. You're not the jerk. You were just out of other options at the moment. Not the jerk. And OP replies, I appreciate this and the way you phrased it. Thank you. We've talked in a lighthearted way before where I say, babe, where are those bags of Doritos that I bought last Saturday? And he laughs and I roll my eyes and we move on. It's just recently become something where it's happening way too often, especially as I've tried so hard to make a nice and proportional dinner. I do need to let him know that this really does bother me, and I'd like for us both to find a better way, because who doesn't like to have some chips and queso as a treat on an occasion? And Electric Fox 6383 says, can you just not buy the weekend treats on the weekend? Seems like it would solve all of this. Everyone's the jerk. He shouldn't be playing hungry, hungry hippos with all the snacks, and you shouldn't be treating him like a toddler, even if he's acting like one. Lol.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, this comment was severely downvoted. People were not having it at all. And OP replies, I just can't ever buy any junk food then. Even if we have some treats after dinner on a Friday, I'll go to bed and I'll eat the rest of everything. But lol, at hungry, hungry hippos. And Misfit0416 says, not the jerk, he has no willpower when it comes to junk food.
Well, it's either no willpower or a lack of consideration.
And Lost Random Dude says, I resemble that comment. This is why I purposely stay away from junk food outside of when I'm with family, and will only buy a single pack of crisps, chips for you Americans, or individual cans of drinks. And I mean, I think that's a really good way of handling something like that. Alright folks, it is tea time! Grab your beverages of choice. I've got a beverage of choice right here, and Amber, she's got a joke. Oh no, it's a Jovial Bobstein joke.
It is. Where was Count Dracula when the lights went out?
Well, Jovial Bobstein, I'll tell you exactly where Dracula was when the lights went out. Dracula was at the Bat Club doing bat things, because that's what vampires do when the lights go out.
In the dark.
Oh, he was in the dark? I mean, okay, that's just not even a joke at that point in time. It's an anti-joke. It's like it's a dad joke at its finest.
Well, I mean, Jovial Bobstein is a dad, so.
And I have Mega Mint.
And I'm a detective, kind of.
Oh yeah, Amber was going to tell us why she's a detective.
So I've been reading Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. I used to be I was so bad at like figuring out mysteries, but right around the 30% mark, I was sure I knew who the killer was. And so now we just got into like 72%, and they started revealing some of that stuff. We still don't know who the killer is yet, so I still could be wrong on that, but I figured I was right about how everyone was connected. But it's kind of disappointing too. Like, I do not want to be right about the killer because I'm very sad if this person is the killer, so.
Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday Junior's Eve, whatever you want to call it. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please say it in the form like you're trying to sell me on a bad investment.
And for only $999 a month, you can get our monthly subscription to Sharks Are Us, the only magazine for shopping for your pet sharks.
I don't have a shark. Why do I need a shark?
You'll want one as soon as you get our magazine subscription.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.